We sure have some weather. I mean, we've got fronts swirling around us, storms coming in and out. I'm joining Keith Cavaius, and we just got done fishing the NWT tournament in Escanaba. Keith won the event, a huge weight, and I was lucky enough to take second. We used a breakthrough technique, something that's not been seen before, and a breakthrough lure. So we wanted to come back at the scene of the crime and try to show you exactly how we caught these fish. We could have kept this a secret and fished tournaments with it for a couple years, but our whole careers we've shared hot techniques and hot lures with you guys. We're gonna go out and make some walleye shiver, and hopefully you can get the next bite.
Just looking for the next bite, next bite, next bite. Just looking for the next bite. Yes, we
We'll continue to show you the next bite.
In the 30 years that Gary Parsons and Keith Cavaius have been tournament fishing the Gladstone and Escanaba area waters for Great Lake walleyes, no other casting technique has flipped the script on a truly effective tournament-grade bite quite like Shivering has.
First and second, and it went right down to the wire. Well, gentlemen, congratulations again. This is pretty cool having you 1-2 like that. That made for a pretty dramatic ending.
We actually did that once before, and Keith won that one too.
The philosophy of being able to hunt and catch individual fish makes it the ultimate option for a search and destroy style technique. But while the unique action of this lure sets it apart from other types of casting lures, the real key is in the interpretation and execution of the cadence.
I got one, Gary.
You got one?
I got one.
How's he feel?
Oh, you know, when you first get them on, a lot of times they just kind of glide.
You can't hardly tell.
I threw it an anchor, so we'll just stop right here. Put her in back reel here. Doesn't feel real big. It's got.
Yeah, until then they get to the boat and it goes. All
right, there he comes. Get him, Gary. Nice. That'll work.
He's a pretty nice fish.
He is a nice one. Quite a bit fatter than I thought he was going to be.
Oh, yeah. Well, I saw him down there. To me, he looked even bigger than that underneath.
Look at how he whacked it up, popped out now. It was way in its mouth.
Yeah.
There's no doubt it hit. They're so pretty up here. They're so dark.
Yeah.
I mean, they're almost like a Canadian Shield Lake fish.
Right.
And that's what happens in this clear water. People don't realize, but the cleaner the water, the darker the walleye is going to be. Just,
yeah. Especially when they're a little deeper like this, they just seem to dark.
Good fish. Look at her. One of the things that I think makes the Shiver minnow really unique is that I think it's got really two different actions involved. When you sweep it up, because of its shape and weighting, it actually darts to one side or darts to another side. And many times when we're looking at walleyes, if you can get a change of direction, that actually triggers bites or gets them excited. Once it does jump up to the side though, the Shiver minnow actually glides very nicely down, back down towards the bottom. And I think that nice smooth travel going down lets them key in or target that bait very well, and that's why you get a lot of bites. Now when you're actually working this Shiver minnow, you want to cast it out there and basically get it very close to the bottom. Then what you want to do is, instead of hitting bottom every time, what you want to do is work that bait so that it's basically bouncing just above the bottom. And what that does is, first of all, it keeps the bait fairly clean, but it also keeps it right in that strike zone. So the cadence I like to use, which is a little bit different than Gary's, is that I'll pop it up and quickly drop my rod tip, pop it up, drop my rod tip, and that's making it dart back and forth, almost like a walking the dog, if you've ever heard of that with bass fishing. So it's sitting down there and doing that. But every about 5th or 6th stroke, I actually just stop and let it glide and don't hit the bottom. That way I know I'm staying down close to the bottom. Gary's is a little bit different.
Yeah, what I like to do is cast it out and let it fall, and I'm using a major sweep, but immediately dropping my rod tip back so I can watch that bait swim back down towards the bottom. Now, on lakes where you don't have moss and grass, you can actually let it clunk the bottom. But here, where we're fishing today, if it hits the bottom, you've got moss on it. So I kind of watch the line. I get a cadence going, drop my rod tip, let it glide and swim towards the bottom. And right about when I think it's going to hit, I sweep again. So that really depends on how deep it is. Sometimes it's a little deeper, you've got to wait a little longer. When it's shallower, you're actually moving pretty fast because it's dropping pretty quick. So those are two fantastic cadences to catch fish, and they both work really well.
I think mine's working better than yours, though. I took first, he didn't.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury, #1 on the water. Amsoil, performance for serious adventure. Tracker boats, fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. Berkeley, catch more fish. Mustad, stay sharper longer. Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate. Motor Guide trolling motors engineered for anglers. Strike King, legacy of domination for 50 years. And Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. With the ability to combine making long casts with a fast cadence in the retrieve, covering water by shivering can almost start to feel as efficient as trolling.
So one of the nice things about this unit right here is, look here, this looks like a fish to me right there on the bottom. So instead of just guessing where that is, you can actually put your cursor right on that fish and then go over here and just save a waypoint. And that will actually save a waypoint, not where you currently are, but right on that cursor, so you can actually see where that fish was marked.
In addition to long casts, accelerated cadences, and networked waypoint marking, another basic advantage is the elimination of the setup time normally associated with trolling techniques, making it even faster to just anchor, lock upwind in rough conditions, and then cast to your marks right away.
One of the important parts of this technique is to look for fish before you actually start casting, especially if you're in a place where there's lots of structures like here in Escanaba. You know, the fish can really be anywhere and they can be positioned on that structure anywhere. So what I did, if you look at this graph here, I actually graphed around across this little point here and we marked some fish. So what I did was I dropped this flag, an icon on that spot. Now the wind is blowing pretty good right now, probably 20, 25 miles an hour. So what we wanted to do is just go out here and sit and cast and cover this point. So what I did was use my XI5, and then I just simply hit anchor. And that will stop you right exactly where you are. Now the cool thing about the XI5 that we've seen all year is it's extremely good at this anchoring. If I have to move a little, like you saw here, I wanted to move just a little closer to that flag after I anchored, I simply hit the left, right, up or down keys to jog over towards it. There's one, Gary.
You got one?
I got one.
I'm gonna anchor right away, Keith.
Yeah, I got him.
I'll be right with you. I'm gonna get my rod in here.
Take your time, he's fighting. Donk. Didn't feel him, it was just, you know, you go to lift and
There he was, huh?
there he was. I'm gonna hop down here. Yeah, I cast it right up. There was that, you know, there's that point there with that taper coming off of it.
Right.
He's right up on that. Yeah, he's staying down
Yeah,
good.
he is. We got her anchored up here. I made sure of that so that we could cast around in case there's some more here.
Yeah. He's gonna be. Get him, Garrett. There we go. I like it. I like it. Looks like I got him in that back hook.
Yeah, you did. You got him right in the nose. He kind of snuck up on you.
This might be one of those Escanaba slot fish. A little too big for that.
Yeah, I think he's a hair too big.
Up here in Escanaba, you can only keep one fish over 23. Of course, we aren't keeping any. Boy, he was stuck good.
You got him right in the nose.
You know, we aren't going to keep any anyway, but if you do come up here, you can only keep one over 23, and I think that's why they've got, you know, a good number of these big fish. We caught more 24 and 25 inchers up here than we did less than 23, so.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's a good fish. And fun. I mean, I was just kind of working it, and I just let it glide, and then when I went to lift, oh, there he is. Perfect.
The real deal Real fishing information from real fishing experts, presented by AmSoil.
Through the years, I've had fish come off at the net, cost me thousands of dollars in tournaments. And one of the reasons that I see quite often is that my partner can't see the fish. He doesn't see it, but I see the fish perfectly. And you know something? That's really a simple matter of good sunglasses. Good sunglasses don't have to break the bank though. Take the Strike Kings that I'm wearing right here, for example. They're a very moderately priced sunglass, but unbelievably high quality. Strike King makes a lot of different sunglasses. All of them are affordable. One of them, like this model right here, is called an S11. There's 11 different layers of protection for your eyes. And the one thing that you have is really good polarization with a lens like this, and you can see those fish. The other good thing that I like is if I'm running through rough water or if it's raining, this S11 series has a hydrophobic lens, so the water peels off your sunglasses and you can still see. So no matter what, don't blow that next fish when you're netting. Get yourself a decent pair of sunglasses and get the darn thing.
Using an ice lure for open water fishing the way that Keith Cavaius and Gary Parsons are using the Shiver minnow is indeed a cutting-edge presentation for walleyes. But the thick coating of zebra mussels on the bottom of this area of Lake Michigan is like fishing in razor blades. That presents its own challenges, requiring some further customization of both their line and their hooks.
Yeah, he's got it by the triple grip. That's why you want to use this style of a hook. Not in my hand, please.
Yeah,
even with that flopping around, look at how that hook is just kind of curled right around into his mouth. What you want to do for these Shiver minnows is actually change out this treble hook. When these lures were designed, they were designed for ice fishing, and those smaller hooks are great for that. But for this open water fishing, especially if you get around bigger fish, you'll want to have a bigger hook on there. I move all the way up to a number 4 triple grip. This is a black nickel one here. It's just your standard one that we use on crankbaits. The big advantage of a triple grip, first of all, obviously, is it holds on to fish better. We've learned this through the years running crankbaits, that little bit of an inward bend actually locks that hook on that fish's mouth. These baits with this big chunk of lead here, the fish like to move their head around and slap that big chunk of lead around. It can be a little bit of an issue losing fish. So moving to that bigger treble hook is important. But the second thing that we found with this triple grip, and it was kind of just by fishing it that we found this out, is because of that inward bend, when this gets down in the bottom near the zebra mussels or near the moss, that inward bend actually keeps a lot of that junk off, so it keeps this lure fishing cleaner. So not only are you going to fish cleaner, but once you get those fish on, you got a lot better chance of landing them with that triple grip.
Yeah, he's a pretty decent fish.
I would say. He's actually pulling so hard. We got a little bit of weather moving it.
Oh, he's pretty wild.
I looked up like, what the heck was that? It's bobbing so much, I hope it's not a darn sheephead.
No, I think it's a walleye. It's got some steady pulls.
Hopefully not too wild.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Well, it's a walleye, definitely. Here comes an excellent netting job. Yeah. He says, not yet, it ain't.
He says, I didn't quite like what I saw up there with that big, wide nitro. Oh, nice. And he got off right then.
He wanted to sneak in. He wanted to sneak in under the boat there. There we go. I actually like when they get unhooked. I can grab him right away then. He's a nice fish.
Yeah, I didn't really get a good hook set. I actually hit him a second time a little bit right away. I didn't feel that bite. He was just there on the hook set.
Well, and that's how like 80% of these bites are. I mean, if people are expecting to feel a tunk or a tick, once in a while it happens, but most of the time it's just when you sweep up, there's a little weight or presence, just follow through and hammer these fish.
Feels like the start of a snag. Hook sets are cheap, just whack. Just
hopefully the snag just starts swimming, right? Just starts swimming. Here we go.
With their existing school winding down on bites, Keith and Gary switch back into search mode.
Not too long and we're just gonna really get dumped on here, but a lot of times right before those storms and stuff, the fish can be biting good, but we gotta find some first.
But the incoming storm that Keith mentioned is moving in fast, and it puts a hold on being out on the water safely.
This is a bad situation. When your line goes straight up like that, that's electrostatic shock. So they better bite quick here.
While tournament anglers are no strangers to heavy winds or rain, it's the presence of lightning that is a little too close for comfort.
Whoa, that was something. Pitching shiver minnows is actually quite technical. Not only the jigging action itself by watching the swing and all the things that you've got to do there, but the equipment itself, it's imperative that you use the right stuff. You're going to want to use a rod that's extremely lightweight, anywhere from 6 to 7 feet in length. And by lightweight, I mean like a feather, because this is a physical technique. But you also want a rod that's got a stiff backbone, a little bit of flex in the tip for fighting big fish. That stiff backbone allows you to drive the hooks into the fish's mouth, even from a long cast. One of the things that'll help you also is the type of line. I like using Fireline Tracer. Keith likes Nanofill. But the one thing about these two lines is that there's zero stretch. So you can really sock the hooks to those fish, even from a long distance on one of the longest casts. On the end of the line, we use a 10 to 15 pound fluorocarbon leader. I like to use one about 3 feet in length, and then the business end is the shiver minnow itself. By using this setup, you've got the best of all worlds. You've eliminated stretch, you've got good backbone, and you can sock the hooks and get those fish in the boat.
Hot topics, leading information, and tackle and techniques to make you a better angler. Presented by Mercury.
Hi folks, Steve Miller here with Mercury Marine, and I want to talk to you today about one of the coolest parts of our new 90 and 115 four-stroke outboards, and that is the fact that we are the only manufacturer to offer not one but two different gear case options to really help you maximize the performance of any specific boat you may have. So we've got our standard gear case, which is an all-new gear case design with a very sleek, unique hydrodynamic profile to it with 15% less hydrodynamic drag, which is a fancy way of saying it pushes the boat through the water a lot easier. That will help your cruise speed, fuel efficiency, it helps your top end and your all-around performance, and it's the perfect gear case for those 16, 17 foot boats that generally lift very well all by themselves. But then for those heavier boats, 18 plus foot, we've got a larger command thrust gear case. We've taken the larger gear case from the 150 four-stroke, changed the ratio to a nice powerful 2.4 to 1 ratio, and put it on the 90 and 115 as an option. So now if you've got a boat that's quite a bit heavier, has a little trouble lifting itself, getting up out of its own way, this gear case provides a lot more leverage in the water and more lift to help get that boat up and moving the way you want it to. The other benefit of the command thrust gear case is it gives you access to Mercury Marine's entire range of V6 class propellers, which is unparalleled in the industry. So for a standard gear case, running a prop such as this Black Max right here, you've got a great prop offering, but with the command thrust, you could upgrade to something like the Inertia, which is a lot more diameter, it's a lot more blade area, and it really complements the larger gear case when you got to get that boat up and running and to get it to really lift and handle the way you want it to.
Keith Cavias and Gary Parsons have built their professional careers on sharing tournament-winning tips and tricks, just like this shivering technique with their fellow walleye anglers.
One of the nice features of the XI5 that I like to use a lot for this kind of fishing is actually called heading lock. And basically what I can do is with my key fob, get my motor pointed the direction that I want to go, and then just simply lock it in with this upper left button to heading lock, and it will keep going that direction. So even though like right now we got a little bit of a side wind, it'll just keep working that direction until I readjust it again. For example, right now we just caught a fish and I want to work my way kind of back to that area and work it over good. Simply point my trolling motor that way, put it in heading lock, and we're working. GP in the house!
Oh, he's coming in pretty quick. I don't know if he's a very big one or not.
They'll do that, we hear you. It's amazing that they actually feel like 18 inches
now
coming in.
and then they get to the boat, and then this happens.
I mean,
he was way out there as far as you can cast.
There he is.
There he is. Oh my goodness.
Looks like a good one.
Yeah, he looks like a good one. Here he comes. Here he comes. Please get him.
I got him.
No, how can a fish come in like it's 18 inches all that way, and he gets right by the boat and he turns into that?
It's a nice one.
I honestly don't think that they
Does this mean you want me to get him? Or
yeah,
what?
you can get him.
Thanks.
I don't even think that they know that they're hooked. I think that they come after that minnow and they think it's a dying minnow, and when they bite it, they don't even know that they.
I don't know what it is, because they got to be just gliding in, because they don't even feel heavy.
Yeah.
Then they get in and they're, big old fish.
It's big fish.
It makes it fun though, but it can fool you. If you do come out and fish this, just be real cognizant that when they're way out at the end of that stroke, they're gonna feel smaller and they're gonna get bigger. So have it in back reel and get ready for some fight.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah. Pretty decent fish.
Very nice. Pretty good guide work on my part too here. Thank you. Here we go. I'm gonna just get down here and let him just get ready here. Oh, here he goes. Nice. Goodbye. What you want to do is switch out that treble hook. I think it does two things. It's got an attracting action.
You're ready. Yeah, I'm gonna quick get unhooked here so you don't get a power play on me.
Well, it is your birthday, so I guess I can wait,
The next bite would like to thank Tom and Tammy Thiel of the Bayview Motel and the Bayview Bait and Tackle Shop in Gladstone, Michigan. Just minutes from multiple launches, the Bayview Motel is both angler and pet friendly. For more, visit bayview-motel.com.